Hey everyone, welcome back. I want to take a chance and try and build a deck that counter the current meta. A lot of the time right now what we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of Amber Steel decks, Amethyst Steel, Emerald Ruby. A lot of these are dominating the tournament scenes. And so I want to take a chance to do a bit of an off-meta build here and see if we can't build a Amethyst Sapphire deck that might be able to take over the meta. And so, or at least counter the current meta. Take over the meta is pretty strong words. And so I want to take a look and see if we can build a rampable deck that has a lot of card advantage and just gets a bunch of big creatures out, and can just outvalue the Be Prepared and the Fire the Cannons, and see if you just outvalue them. I suspect the one weakness to this deck might be that you might be able to get milled against the Amber Steel deck, especially with the whole new world, if they get 3 or 4 versions of that off. But other than that, my theory crafting thinks that we might be able to do something pretty strong here. So what we'll do is we'll build a deck here right now live, and we'll try and fine tune it, and I'm going to do some games off stream here, and I don't know, 10-20 games, and see how it matches up against the current meta. So let's take a look. So let's first of all, let's filter it by cost. If we can do that. No, can't do cost. Okay. Sort by cost. There we go. Low to high. So let's take a look. So we certainly want some 1-drops to make us survive, and Archimedes seems reasonable for that. I'm not really looking to get early lore, and that's not what I want to do. Even 1/1 early lore is not what I want to do. Befuddle's not really the thing. This is not fantastic at all. What do I think about Flounder? I don't think we can spare another 1-drop, but we'll put it in for now and see what we end up with. This draws you 1 card. Might be okay. It replaces itself. It does help you filter, and you can use it for ink. Taking a look. We want to play some Dr. Facilier, so we'll put him in for now. The brooms are just Value Town. Freeze isn't what we want to be doing. Magic Mirror, I think we probably want 2 or 3 of these. I'll put 3 in right now. Well, I like Ursula's. I don't want too many non-inkable. I'm going to leave that out for now. Grammatala obviously goes in for ramp. This just gets us more ink. That's kind of what we want to be doing. We'll throw it in for now. I don't think we're going to be doing a lot of songs. I think we're going to play some Elsa's, and we're going to want a shift target. Maleficent is obviously just pure card advantage, which is fantastic. Friends from the other side as well. I don't think we need to be rushing our creatures out. Maybe some Jasmines if we want to shift. The Mickeys are fantastic as usual. We're not really an item deck. We already got the Elsa coming in. These Jafars I'm not a huge fan of. I think these Mickeys, though, we certainly want some of those Mickeys in to go off the brooms. Let's take a look. Anything else? Potentially Belle, especially if we get up to 10 or more ink cards. That's quite a good card. Maleficent. We've already got the Mickey, like we said. The Queen is fantastic. I think we need some Queens in there. Let's take a look. Potentially playing Aurora, Dreaming Guardian. We don't have a smaller Aurora in, though, so we'd have to get 1 in if we wanted to play that. Let It Go just banishes something, essentially. So we're still going to want that. I don't think the Jasmine is good enough. Marshmallow might not be the worst. Let's take a look. Dr. Facilier, late game if they don't have a board wipe, is going to take over. Ursula is going to take over as well. Hades is a must-have, I think, in a top-end deck like this. We do get our Elsas in there. Okay, so taking a look here. Okay, so we got 91 cards. And potentially we need a smaller Aurora if we want to shift. Okay, so 95 cards, so we have to cut 35 cards. So we have to cut quite a bit here. So let's take a look. Magic Mirrors, let's cut 1 down to 2. Friends on the other side, I think we want it. Let It Go, I think we need it. 1 jump ahead. I don't like the non-inkable version of that. Develop your brain. I think we get rid of that as well. Okay, so pretty light on songs and items, but maybe we'll bump up a magic mirror by 1. Okay. Elsa, I think we need 4 of, which means we're going to need baby Elsa as well. What do I think about the Jasmine? Well, we're not playing the big Jasmine, so we get rid of the little Jasmine. That's fine. Hades is excellent. Ursula is good. Maybe we drop that down to, say, 3 Ursulas. Dr. Facilier, let's drop it down. And we'll drop Dr. Facilier. Let's get our Flanders out of there. Do we want your other characters gain ward? I don't think that's good enough. I don't think we can take up 8 slots just to give some of our creatures wards. The Queen I think we need. Marshmallow might be a cut here. Belle is a need. Mickey Mouse is definitely in. The other Mickey is definitely in. Maleficent is in. Elsa. If we're playing 4, we probably want 4 of these Elsas as well. Magic Rooms, obviously. Okay. So I actually think... Let's take a look at how the breakdown goes. So right now we have 25 not inkable. So we have to get rid of some of these not inkable cards. I mean, that's absurd. We can't have 25 of these. So Mickey Mouse kind of replaces himself. Let's cut the marshmallows. We're down to 64 cards. Cut 1 Elsa. 1 baby Elsa. Need to cut 2 more here. These are tough cuts. Then you cut 1 magic mirror. 19 non-inkable. Okay. We'll cut 1 Mickey Mouse. Okay. So this is going to be the deck. It's certainly a more expensive deck at $550. I think there are ways you could probably make this a bit cheaper. One, by if you're just going to cut the Elsas, you're going to save $150. But let's give this deck a go. I'm going to play some games with it, see how it goes, and I'm going to report back what the meta looks like here. Okay, everyone. So I just completed 10 games of the Amethyst Sapphire deck that we just created. And it went pretty well. These were all against meta decks, full-end decks. There weren't any budget lists that I was playing against. And we won 8 out of 10, so 80% win rate. We did lose 2. One was to a Sapphire Ruby deck. That was essentially a ramp deck. I lost 20 exact lore to 19. I probably had 7 or 8 lore on board to swing back with. Really, I outplayed myself that game because I thought it was a ramp deck. They were playing the Maleficent, and I suspected they were going to have a Be Prepared. And so I was holding back a few cards. I could have got some more, being ready for the board rebuild. And so certainly I outplayed myself, and I think if that was a best 2 out of 3, I think I win those. And certainly if Be Prepared is not in the meta, I definitely win that. There's no doubt about that one. The other one I lost to was a real tough matchup for this deck specifically. It was an Amber Emerald deck, and specifically just the quick aggro. I dealt with a lot of aggro decks here, and it was fine. I got the early trades, I got the card advantages. I was able to banish their creatures with either Hades or my other abilities, and things just went super smooth against aggro. I mean, this had a very good matchup against aggro in general. It had a really good matchup against other late game decks. It had a really good matchup against the Amber Steel deck that was trying to do the a whole new world. Just ran over those decks. It wasn't even close. But this Amber Emerald deck, it was a little aggressive, and specifically the reason that it ended up losing me, I think it was this color combination. Like I said, the Amber Steel deck, there's no issue at all. But the Amber Emerald with the Cusco was really tough. Now I played a Ruby Emerald as well in game 2, and it was fine. I couldn't really deal with the Cusco all that well, but in the Amber Emerald, they just got enough floor on the board, and then having the guy with Ward out, It was just super difficult to deal with that. Um, I just couldn't get rid of it, even though I had spells and that. So overall, I think this deck went fantastic. Obviously, it could use more playtesting, but there weren't any dead cards. There weren't any cards I wasn't happy to see. It ran as expected. Like I said, an 80% win rate against meta decks. So certainly, this deck is something I think you could take to a tournament. Could get number one with it pretty easily, especially if you know how to pilot the deck and are comfortable with playing a control type deck. The only downside is it is a bit expensive. However, I think all decks right now are kind of up in that $400 to $600 range. So certainly, I think this deck could easily be top five decks in the meta, and I think it counters a lot of the stronger decks. But we are seeing the meta start to change more to the Ruby Emerald and some of the other Amber Emerald, some of these combos that could give this deck problems. But if the meta is staying the way it has been with the recent tournament results, this is a fantastic deck, and I'd certainly be comfortable playing it at a high end tournament. But that is it. If you like this video, please hit like. If you really like this video, please hit subscribe. If you have any questions or any comments or any way I can improve this deck, please leave it below. If you end up playing with this deck, let me know how it goes, and I'll see everyone later.